What if you scribbled an idea on a napkin and it became a limitless scale tech company poised for exit? What if you had a vision of eliminating an inefficiency in your community, industry, or the world, and you had a chance to co-found a company and bring this product or service to the market? What if we could positively impact every social issue with tech? 10x Tech Tank is the #1 daily show for everything tech entrepreneurship. And whether you are technical or not, you will learn, be inspired, and witness transformation in the making. People will share tech ideas on napkins. People will showcase minimum viable tech products. People will explain their cash-flowing tech companies looking for acceleration. And if the person is right, and their idea is right, and the market is right, and the business model is right, then there's a great chance you will witness some serious magic. We are on a mission to build, scale, and sell 10,000 tech companies in 10 years. And we invite you to make history with us. Together, we achieve more.
Welcome to 10x Tech Tank. Jared Yellin here, co-founder of 10x Incubator. And listen, Biggie, introduce yourself. What do you do at the Incubator?
My name is Eric Nowoslawski. I'm the VP of Growth for the 10x Incubator. And what I do is I deploy growth strategies for all of our companies. We pick the channel, the major social media channel, the minor social media channel. Maybe there's some dark social channels, as well as email campaigns. We gather phone numbers. And what we do is we growth hack the first 1,000 customers for our incubator companies. And so we do a lot of that through automation. We do a lot of that through integration to data tools. And I help all of our companies develop that strategy. And then my team implements that strategy for them. So that's what I do specifically for the incubator. And then my favorite thing to do is to speak with investors and Fortune 1000 companies to get them interested in what we have going on as well. And that's how I spend my day.
Yeah, that's awesome. No, it's cool. So what Big E's doing over here for our portfolio companies, it's game changing. And I'm going to tell you why. We've had people come out and be like, we got to see behind the curtain. Like, what are you doing? Like what is your sales stack? Like, what are the automations? And we've had people that have been in the industry, Eric, that have said, quote unquote, there are Fortune 500 companies that have not been able to crack the code that this guy right here and his team is cracking for pre-revenue tech companies. Pre-revenue tech, your ideas. Because what we do is we take napkins and we go on a journey to an exit. And that's the purpose of 10x Tech Tank. We will have 4 people tonight pitching their big tech ideas. Those ideas, they might be written on a piece of paper just like this. That might be all they have at this point, which is perfect. Maybe they've invested some money and they have a minimum viable product and they're looking for what's their next step? Can my product even scale? Or maybe they're a cash flowing tech company that looks for rapid acceleration. 10x Tech Tank is a safe space. And as you're watching, I need you to do me a favor. I need you to do Eric a favor. We need you to be loud in the chat. If there's an idea that you're like, you guys need to move forward with this, do due diligence, please influence us. Please, we go through the chat. We look to be influenced by people like you that are here that might be suffering from the challenge or the inefficiency or the problem that one of these entrepreneurs is about to solve. So please be active in the chat. You will influence us. All right, here we go. Let's have our first entrepreneur pitch us. We have Aaron. Aaron, where are you calling in from right now?
Hey guys, I'm calling from Buffalo, New York. Just super happy to be on the show. Can't wait to get going. Got an awesome idea. I can't wait for you guys to hear.
Let's rock, man. You have 5 minutes. Do your thing. Go for it, Aaron.
Okay, awesome. So picture this, right? You're a homeowner. You just moved into your new home. You're looking to do an outdoor project in your backyard. You're like, where do I start? I don't have any tools. I don't have anything to do the project on. And you're looking for somewhere to rent a piece of equipment to get the project done. You can't find it anywhere. But then you find this platform online where you can go and search for any tool you're looking for and rent it from a contractor that's local, another homeowner, anything like that. And it's a perfect situation. They have it all ready for you and they drop it off. That's my idea. Instead of having to go to United Rentals, Home Depot, or anywhere else, you'd be able to do peer-to-peer rentals from other small local contractors or other homeowners for any tools that you're looking for, not have to worry about wait times, if the equipment's ready, how the rental yard's going to be, and it'd be all ready for you on one easy platform online. So that's my idea. Right now, it's kind of a napkin idea, still working out some of the kinks. But I think if we got this ready to rock and roll, it'd be the next big thing, just like Airbnb.
Awesome, man. So what makes you the right person, Aaron? I can tell you got good energy. So energy is something we gravitate to. But what makes you right to bring this idea to the world?
Right. Yeah. I've been an entrepreneur my whole life. I've never been able to sit still and not think of ways to better people around me, better myself. Right now, I am a small local contractor. I run a landscaping company here in Buffalo, New York. I've tried this idea myself out, and it's worked well for me. So that's why I think, why not give other people the opportunity to kind of bring this idea and help others out? So that's just kind of where I'm coming from. And I think I'd be a great fit because, I'm always looking to better people out and, help other people out. So that's why I'm so passionate about the idea.
So there's definitely a need. To me, we've had people present the concept, and we've never had somebody be able to succinctly answer this one question, which is, how do we get the equipment to somebody's house? Like if somebody's like, I need a certain piece of equipment, but I don't have a trailer, and the person that's renting it out doesn't want to drop it off. Like how does it get there? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Right. Yeah. So that's definitely one of those things that's going to have to be worked out. Definitely not going to be an easy concept. My first train of thought would have the owner of the piece of equipment, they could choose to be a delivery person if they wanted for an extra fee. So that would be option number one. Option number two is we could partner with a trucking company that's local who hauls heavy equipment, has a couple trucks, and, is looking for more work like that. We could definitely, partner with them. Or the third option, maybe down the road, because this would obviously be a little bit more liability, is have boots on the ground or have connections in the specific area and almost act as kind of like an Uber per se, but for the equipment that's getting rented out. So that's just a couple of my ideas. Obviously, we'd have to explore each avenue and see which might be best to start us off.
So if you had a $50,000 piece of equipment and you rented it out, would you be nervous if somebody was gonna?
That was going into my next question. You mentioned liability. So how are we going to cover the liability for these people who might say the exact same thing? My equipment is $50,000. How do I know that if somebody breaks it, I'm insured?
Right, exactly. Yeah, no, that's definitely a concern because I've rented out my Bobcat, and people ask me all the time. They're like, "Oh my gosh, aren't you scared? Like, what if someone doesn't come back?" And that's just kind of a risk I've had to take. Obviously, with this new platform, we would definitely have to have some sort of insurance coverage like Airbnb if something did happen like that. Maybe it could be an option the owner could choose that the renter would have to pay, just something like that. Or what else I was thinking to kind of combat that a little bit would have a rating and review system. So the buyer could rate the seller and the seller could rate the buyer on, how they treated the equipment, how prompt the seller was, stuff like that, just to kind of hold everyone accountable and to encourage good behavior on our site so that they could keep doing more business on it.
Yeah, absolutely. And so what kind of competition exists for this idea today? Is there any way that people are accomplishing this now?
So yeah, there's a little bit of competition, nothing major. Right now there's a website called equipmentshare.com, but it's more of like a technology platform for contractors for like their fleet efficiency and whatnot. I really couldn't find anything that, said like, rent your piece of equipment here. Here's what you should do, like as me, a small local contractor. So that's kind of what I found. There is another website too that's trying to accomplish it, but it was, very confusing. They didn't have that rating system. I was trying to rent a piece of equipment and I couldn't find anything even remotely close to me. And it was just very confusing. So it looks like there's a couple people that are trying to accomplish the same goal. But I think that, if we had the right tools, the right resources, we could blow them both out of the water and really hit that niche that we're looking for.
So you bring up my concern, which is like the density of equipment. like you yourself were trying to use a platform and you weren't able to find the tool that you needed. And I'm assuming you either didn't take the job or you went to Home Depot or one of the other providers because you needed the tool if you're going to do the job.
Yeah.
How do we prevent that from happening? Because what I believe in marketplaces like this, because I'm a huge fan of marketplaces, is if somebody comes and the first time they don't find what they're looking for, they're never going to come back again, like ever. So we want to make sure that when we launch, there's like density of access to whatever the marketplace is offering. Sell me on how you're going to solve that.
Right. Yeah, no, for sure. One of the biggest things that I would do to start is, instead of marketing to homeowners saying, find your tools, I would actually go after the local contractors first and say, do you guys have equipment that you're not using on a day-to-day basis? Like, want to earn some extra money through our platform, and really target those contractors first who have all the tools that we're looking for. And then once we have a good base of contractors that are doing peer-to-peer renting, we could definitely dive into that homeowner space too. But it would definitely kind of be a waste of our resources and time to jump right after the homeowners right away. So we definitely need to make sure we go after the people who have, tools that they'd be looking to earn some extra money off of.
Awesome. So he's got a 10X pin on over there. You see
Yeah,
that?
I know.
See that
I appreciate
he came to play tonight. He came to play. So Eric, what are your thoughts?
My thoughts are that this is definitely a industry that is in need of something, right? The construction industry has not, and I know this isn't only construction, but the construction industry hasn't seen a revolution since the 1980s. Nothing has really sped up the production of large skyscrapers, homes. It's in need of some kind of disruption. And with something like this, particularly with the supply chain issues that we're seeing now, and a lot of people can't get even access to contractors to build homes for them because there's so much demand going on in the housing market, I know that the equipment market is probably really strained as well. So for people to be able to maybe even pay off their equipment by renting it out to other people and still having it for their own purposes, I think is particularly interesting. There's just some things about how do we get it out to the person, like the logistics of it, right? How do you get it to the site? Do I have to deliver it? Does the person that's renting it have to pick it up? How is it going to get there? And then the liability. How much risk are people on the platform willing to take? Maybe people on the platform are willing to take an outsized level of risk where they could just say, hey, here's my Bobcat, just please don't break it. Or they want to sign really unique agreements that's one-off, and they're going to do that with every single person. These are the kinds of things that we look at when we dive deeper with people in the next step of our process.
Yeah, so for me, you're the right dude. Like that I love. I mean, you could sell it, you believe in it, you have the need, like you everything about you is right. I guess my biggest concern is how, and I'm not asking you this is something that I think you should go out and do some research on as we start internally discussing what the next steps would look like. But are there other people like you in the industry that are waking up every day and their Bobcats sitting in their garage and like, I just wish I can rent this thing out? Like, is there a large enough market of people that know that there's this just wasted cash flow? And do they care enough to go out and actually rent out the equipment? I don't know. This is not my world. I'm the least handy person alive. I thought a Bobcat was a cat. I literally thought we were doing something here with little cute little pussy cats, and we're not, obviously. But listen, all kidding aside, what was the problem with that then, Biggie? Come on, man. Listen, we're in the tank. You can say anything you want here. Look at this guy. Keeping it PG. Is that what you're doing? Okay. But listen, man, awesome pitch. For everybody watching, if you're someone that look at this guy, can't even control himself. If you're watching, let us know what you think of the idea. Should we move forward in due diligence? I'm a yes for this dude. I'm a yes for the dude. I know that we need to do some more research on the industry to find out what the needs are, but great job with the presentation. We appreciate it. And please in the chat, let us know what you think. So listen up. I'm really big with tech that changes the freaking world. Like when we can find a tech product that has such a force for good behind it, I'm always a yes. And we'll figure out the details later. And one of our companies is called FarmBridge. And FarmBridge is changing the world. When we first met Troy, who's the co-founder of FarmBridge, I'm like, we need him in our ecosystem. Like we need him in our ecosystem. And his original idea, it was good, but it wasn't going to change the world. And he went through the process with us. Remember Eric on that call? And we just radically changed the idea. And as a result, it changed the world. What FarmBridge allows you to do with your kids is to launch your own farmer's market. Imagine a world where there's a farmer's market on the end of every street. And the family that's running that farmer's market has the ability to generate recurring revenue for their little family business that they're launching with their kids. And that revenue could grow to tens of thousands of dollars a month. And they're providing farm fresh produce to the families in that street. You might be like, where's the tech? It's a complete tech play. And right now, we have the opportunity for 500 people to launch their own farmers market at the end of their street. Please take a look at this commercial. Allow the goosebumps to start coming out, because that's what this is about. This is a force for good. It's going to make a radical difference, and I want to make sure that you own your farm bridge in your zip code starting today. All right, take a look.
What if there was a way to guarantee farm fresh produce in the home of every family in your zip code? What if you and your family could launch a business out of your home, place of worship, or anywhere you desire? What if you could become part of the solution to current healthcare crisis that plagues our world? What if you could become your local farm bridge? We are on a mission to find one local health enthusiast in every zip code from around the world to launch a local farmers market. This business opportunity will take only a few hours a week and produce significant income for you and your family. Plus, it's a force for good as we unite and simplify the process of connecting local farmers with local families so that farm fresh produce exists within every home in your community. We are on a mission to revitalize our soil, help the farmers who work tirelessly to provide high nutrient foods to our families, and strengthen the health of our nation that has been manipulated into consuming low nutrient, ultra-processed foods. Together, we can grow the number of thriving, sustainable farms and increase human health and longevity through creating ease in access to high nutrient foods. Spots are limited and zip codes are being claimed quickly, so if you could see yourself as part of the solution, we invite you to join our movement.
Pussycat helmet?
You can't say that.
You can't say Bobcat, Pussycat?
No, it's the P word. Don't say the P word.
You think so? I don't know. This guy's got.
I'll jump back in for this one.
Back, Biggie. So what do you think about that?
So
let's do it again. Yeah.
All right, thank you all for taking a look at the Farm Bridge commercial. What I love so much about that idea is bringing fresh food everywhere on the corner of everyone's street. Because us being healthy food fanatics, not enough people are getting access to the healthy food that they need. They're eating too much processed food that's overdone with preservatives, salts, and fillers that are making their bodies unhealthy. And if people can have access to more healthy food, it could radically change the world. And that's what we're talking about with Farm Bridge.
And think it's like most farmers markets, it's like Tuesday from 11 to 1. It's like,
how is a business person supposed to get
who's
there?
Going? Like I would go, but I can't make it. But imagine if every day you could just walk to the end of your street and pick up your little package. That's what Farm Bridge stands to do. We invite you to explore. We invite you to join this movement that will absolutely radically change the world. Someone's going to do it in your zip code. I just hope it's you. Farmbridge.com. Take a look. All right, we have another entrepreneur ready to pitch us. We have Tanya. Tanya, where are you calling in from tonight?
Hi, guys.
What's going on?
Tanya.
Where are you calling in from?
Hi. I'm calling in from Toronto, Canada.
Awesome. Welcome.
Great.
What do you say? What do you always say when someone calls in from Canada? What do you say?
Okay, so the Cardone team, when they make a sale in Canada, they'll announce the name of the sale and then that they're from Canada, and then the whole team says "A." So that's
Was that good? Was that good? Tanya, how would you vote that from 1 to 10? 10 is like he nailed it, and 1 is like get him off the tank.
Well, that's not the way Canadians use it. Tanya, don't put me on the spot here and like saying that I think Canadians use "A" like that. I know it's a question phrase. It's not used in every sentence.
So if he offended you, don't even. All right, Tanya, take it away. 5 minutes. Share your big idea. Go for it.
Awesome. Hey, guys. Listen, there is nothing worse for kids than being hurt from the effects of mom and dad feeling burned out because they're working from home all day long now. I can stop this from happening. My name is Tanya Mayer, and it is my intention today to partner with you for 20% of my idea in taking my business to the next level. My company, Triple Training Method, it's an online course curriculum where I coach others to reach their health and fitness goals. We're going to do $100,000 in the next 3 months, and we're going to do $2 million in the next 12 months. Now we're going to do this by bringing remote health and wellness services into the corporate space to stop that burnout. We're going to bring virtual fitness classes, wellness coaching, health and fitness challenges, all of this to boost the employee productivity, increase their team engagement, because this leads to mom and dad feeling good about their work, which supports them feeling happy at home. Happy mom and dad, happy kids. But the best part of this idea is it plugs right into 10X Health Systems. It creates a bridge for new customers who are looking for an alternative solution to the employee assistance program that they're currently getting in their company. Now, why am I the one to do this? I'm an award-winning athlete in bodybuilding, and I've spent many years working in the corporate environment. So I have a deep understanding of the kind of stress corporate employees go through, and I know how to overcome it. I have won huge in both of these areas, and my solution brings these powerful parts of me together so I can help millions of others do the same thing. Let me give you just a little idea of our landscape. In the past 2 years, tens of millions of people have turned to working remotely from home. And most companies have said they're going to stay that way. This remote working environment, it's grown massively, and it's here to stay. Now, how are we going to target our customers? We're going to get them through referrals, through cold calls, through inbound marketing across all kinds of social media channels, through outbound marketing across all kinds of speaking engagements, speaking at conferences, events, virtual events, webinars. I need help with a team to bring all of these moving parts together so we can then scale it out. From a tech perspective, I'm looking at a one-stop platform to run it all from. Fundraising of 100 grand to cover the startup costs, and your support in blowing it up, amplifying this out to the world. Guys, I'm on a mission. We are going to inject a painkiller right to the root of so many health problems. In this process, I'm going to make you money, I'm going to make me money, and we're going to help all kinds of people doing it. This is a win, win, win. So let me ask you this. Are you in?
Boom. Awesome. Tanya, loving it. Loving the energy. All right, let's dig into the product. What are I love the one-stop shop in health. We're both really passionate about health. Grant Cardone is passionate about health. Any health tech, you get our attention because we know we live in a very sick society. And with better decision making, there's a chance to radically change it. And it sounds like this is going to support people with their decisions, with their education. What are the features of the tech? You said one-stop shop. What are those features that are going to make this a utility? I can't live without. I'm using it every day. What are the features of the product? Go for it.
Well, I see a platform that brings our fitness instructors in, that brings our wellness coaches in, that ties them in together, and then the employees can just log into it to access the programs that we're going to create. So we don't have to send them a Zoom invite into their email, log into Zoom over here, then you're going to have an appointment over there. It's scattered all about. So I see a platform on their desktop that they can go from their work environment. And let's say the class is at Thursday at 2:00. Oh, there's going to be a yoga and meditation session that's going to break my day. I'm going to have that health break. They minimize their work and they open up our platform. Maybe there's a turnkey solution where they can open up their intranet and just go straight into it and go right into the class. So it kind of brings it all together, and it helps us too from the operational perspective, so that scheduling, calendars, the newsletters or the messages we have to send out can just be done from this one platform. Now, I'm not quite the techie, but I do see it kind of running from this one spot. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, that's awesome. So then the corporation is going to pay a fee to then integrate this into their workplace and then roll it out to the employees. What's the economic model? What does that look like for you?
Well, the model that I've put out is for the number of users. So to meet the goal of 2 million in 12 months, it is bringing on users means that we need to meet 2,700 employees. Now, this is like employees of the company. This doesn't mean companies. This can be 27 companies of 100 users. And the rate is per employee per month. So if we were to charge them, let's say, $400 per month per employee per month. One company has 100 employees. That's a monthly charge. That charge will cover the cost of the platform, the cost of the resources we use for them. So the classes, the instructors, the operational costs, the expenses. And the key thing about this is that this charge goes through whether the employees use it or not. It's done on a contract basis when you're working with corporate companies, and it's a standard rate that comes through. So it shows up as an employee benefit, like a perk that's available to them. They can reach in and use it at their own free will, or they might not. That part is up to them. But for us, it's a constant monthly, almost like a subscription model.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, health and wellness is notoriously a competitive landscape. What about this process or this education is going to be different enough that people are going to say, I need Tanya?
There is something, I love this question. Thanks for asking it. There's something that I've noticed in the research that I've done, because I've reached out to past coworkers and colleagues, what's going on in your company right now? And the large companies, the large employers, they may have something that's in-house, and they've shown me what has been supplied. And it's usually something corporate, super high level, that is maybe a newsletter that's coming through that really doesn't provide information. What I do on a personal level in my company is I provide huge value personally to my clients. So I'll do things like 5 tips to making healthy choices in what you eat, the best 3 things to have right after lunch so you don't fall asleep. Like what to do at 2 p.m. when you have that chocolate craving. These are all things that employees, like in the office or when you're at home, that they go through. And when they enact on those kinds of habits, that's what blocks all the other things from happening. It stresses people out. They don't realize the impact of certain foods at certain times. And so it's my intention to actually provide that kind of valuable information that really comes home straight to the heart, that they can understand, not the high level corporate, which is fine, but it has its purpose at that level. So my intention is coming in with value engagement.
Awesome. Listen up. So you are the right person. I love your energy, off the charts. I'm not sold on the idea, and I'm partially not sold on the idea because I don't believe you've gone deep enough into it yet to know what your 10x difference is. This is such a competitive landscape, the corporate wellness industry. I launched a company 15 or 16 years ago in corporate wellness when it was like not even defined yet. And what I launched then probably compares to what you're talking about today. And there's so many opportunities out there for corporations to integrate these wellness programs. What I want to challenge you to do is to really put yourself in the shoes of the company, because there's one thing that you said that stood out to me. It's not a win-win-win if a company is paying $400 a month for an employee, but the employee is not logging in. It's a win for us. It's definitely not a win for the person that's not logging in. It's definitely not a win for the company that's paying for the $400 for the person to not log in. Find a way to disrupt that. Because the whole concept of the fitness industry is people go and they buy a treadmill, they put it in their house, and then the treadmill just collects like the dry cleaning. Let's not do that with the tech. Let's find some way of building a tech product, because there's a need, right? People are sicker than ever. So there's a lot of solutions out there, but they're obviously not working because people would be getting healthier if they were working. So there's an opportunity. I just don't think you're there yet. But maybe I'm wrong, and maybe everybody that's watching thinks I'm crazy. So tell me I'm crazy. Tell me, no, Jared, you're missing it. Like Tanya's idea is the idea for corporate wellness. In the chat, influence us. Tanya, you are the right person. That I'm certain of. Get deeper into the idea. Figure out what is missing in the corporate wellness landscape. It's not just content. It's some level of a utility that employees literally can't live without. They're motivated to use it, and they're gonna use it. And that's what corporations are looking for. And listen, don't hold it against this guy. He's not there yet with his eye thing like from Canada. Listen up. For all of you that are watching right now, I wanna make sure that you realize, how have we pulled off what we've pulled off? I mean, in such a short period of time, right, Eric? In like a year, we've had over 10,000 people apply to work with us. And of those 10,000 people, we had about 500 of them have a chance to go through due diligence with us. And then we've said yes to over 100 companies at this point in time, which is remarkable. We're gonna build, scale, and sell 10,000 tech companies in 10 years. To have 100 in the first year, it's unheard of. So we had to figure this all out as we were going. And one of the things that I've learned, if you wanna become memorable for the right reasons, there's 4 steps. And I wanna share this with you. And I want you to write this down and then watch a short commercial that just encapsulates it all. But the first step is declare your moonshot. Build, scale, sell 10,000 tech companies in 10 years. So declare it and never feel silly when you declare it. The next step is to take action like a maniac so that people are observing and they're like, you're crazy or you're onto something. And maybe it's a little bit of both, but you're more on something than you are crazy. And then the third one is to talk about it a ton. And if you do that, you're gonna get a ton of attention, right? We got attention everywhere. We got attention in the venture capital world, the private equity world, family office world, with big tech companies in Silicon Valley. We got attention anywhere, but there's a 4th step. And the 4th step is what I call the $100 million letter. You need to write a letter that's gonna produce $100 million for you. If you feel silly right now, you don't feel worthy, you're not ready yet to go for the moonshot, because there's no one that's accomplished their moonshot without the resources. So I took the initiative and I wrote a $100 million letter. And I invite you to check out this commercial right now so you can understand why the letter, what's the purpose of it, and how can you read it so that it inspires you to do the same. Take a look at this commercial right now.
We have a secret that we are ready to unveil. It's the secret to becoming memorable. It's the secret to getting attention. It's the secret to opening any and all doors. Step 1, declare your moonshot. At 10X Incubator, we will build, scale, and sell 10,000 tech companies in 10 years. Step 2, take maniac action. People will think you are crazy and onto something. Step 3, talk about your moonshot and actions incessantly. Make people dream about you. The 4th step is a big deal. It's called the $100 million letter. There has never been a moonshot that was realized without resources, and we want to invite you to read the letter that our founder has composed to raise $100 million from ultra-high net worth change makers. And as you read this letter at $100millionletter.com, envision what your letter will say. There is a $100 million letter that lives inside of you. Let it come out and reach the moon.
And we're back, man. $100 million letter, bro. Boom! That's what it looks like, Biggie. $100 million letter. What we're doing with this letter is we're sharing it with you. We're sharing it with you so that you can build your own version of this. This isn't hype. This isn't rah-rah. This is tactical, practical attention seeking for the right reason. One of the things that Eric teaches is attention as a service. We did an entire presentation for our co-founders on how we do this for them. Now, one of those things is being bold. It's being audacious. It's doing things that no one else has even thought of doing. And even if they thought of it, they were too scared to start. Write your $100 million letter today. It's $100millionletter.com. Download it, read it, enjoy it, and share it with the world. All right, who's up next? Who's our next entrepreneur? We got Brian. Brian, where are you calling from tonight?
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Good stuff, my
excellent.
friend. Please take it away. You got 5 minutes. Pitch your big idea.
All right, thank you. Let me share my screen. Sorry, here, having technical difficulties.
You're all good, man.
All right, I'll do it without the screen sharing.
Cool.
So phone calls, text messages, and emails are the most widely formed use of communication. And what we enjoy about these forms of communication is that there's no predefined communities. So what that means is when you grab your phone and you text someone or you call someone, what you enjoy about it is that you can call a coworker, you can call a friend, you can call parents, and what we enjoy about that is the fact that there's no concept of a predefined community. So when you look at the video world, video hasn't been built like that. Video has been a very ecosystem-driven software evolution. And so if you break down the video world into four major components, there's utilities, there's video conferencing, there's device dependencies, and there's ecosystem dependent. But what's interesting is when you look at the utility category, really it's just phone calls, text messages, and emails. So video conferencing is your Zooms, your Meets, your Teams, your WebEx. Device dependencies, your FaceTimes, your Google Duos. Then everything else in the video market is a predefined community. And what I mean by that is like House Party or Facebook Messenger, Telegram, Signal, Slack, Skype, etc. And so interestingly, like 30 years ago, Bell and some of the telecom providers actually tried to build a universal standard for video calling, and it never took off. And so the market, entrepreneurs like myself went out and they built these little predefined ecosystems and scaled them over time. And there's some huge companies today, for example, Zoom, which is what I'm on right now. So what we did is I took this approach. I said, look, well, what if you built a tool that's platform ecosystem and predefined community agnostic? And you're really focused on a simple, elegant video call. In other words, something that I could just seamlessly send to anybody, independent of who they are, independent of what device they're on, and they could instantly be in a video call. Kind of a simple way to look at it is think of it like FaceTime for anybody and to anybody. And so that's what we built. We built a company called Yep Video Chat. It's heyyep.com. You go to the website, you can either chat now or chat later. Chat later just copies a link to your clipboard. The links are very unique. They're persistent. So when you grab a link, you can send that link to anybody and that link always exists. So think of it like you can install video chat anywhere in your digital life and always go back to that same room. So in other words, if Jared and I are on a thread, I can say, hey, Jared, are you available? You can say, sure. We can, hey, there's already a link in the thread. Just go back and click that same link. It's one of those things where like, if you go to heyyep.com, you kind of have to try it. It's literally like grab a link and then chat. It's literally that simple. It's a huge market cap. So there's about 4.7 billion internet users. We'd say roughly 2 billion of them are what we'd consider affluent. And we think it's tangible, although a lot of work to do to get maybe half of those internet users. And I recognize that that's a very big number. When you look at it from a device perspective, there's about 8 billion applicable devices worldwide that we can service right now today live in production. And of those 8 billion, about 6 billion of those devices are devices that are owned and operated by the affluent internet users. In other words, it's more than one device per affluent user. And we think that we can address probably about a third of those elegantly. The business model is pretty simple. So 99% of all video conferences are according to our research, is less than 4 people and require no moderation tools. So we think that we can scale the product in a PLG play, which is product-led growth. And then build back into premium features. In other words, webinars or, something like this as an example. These are features that we don't solve for today by design. We're a 5-button application, which makes it super simple for everybody from an executive of a company to grandma to even my kids. So once we scale.
1 minute, Brian. 1 minute. Wrap it up in
yes.
1 minute. Yep. Go for it. 1 minute.
Yep. No problem. I'm just about done. So we plan on scaling the company as a product-led growth, and then we can address specific verticals. So we also built a white labeling tool for sales enablement. In other words, like think of it like company name.heyyup.com. This is live in production as well. We haven't started marketing that, and then we believe that on the consumer side, we can go into ad placement. We started with an idea. We built a beta and MVP, and literally 8 days ago, we started marketing. And so we're, like I said, we're going to scale the product. Then we're going to go into premium features, potentially address different market verticals, and then go into advertising. Myself, I started a software company 10 years ago. I raised $50 million, ended up selling it to a public company and then again to private equity. My co-founder was a part of that story as well. And we've also got some pretty interesting advisors. That's it.
Good stuff, man. Congratulations to you. I love it. Love it. So what do people stop using now that they use your platform? Like, what are they abandoning? And then they're going to just start using your platform.
Zoom, Meet, and Cisco. I mean, the big three.
Awesome. And what's the economic model for the platform?
Yeah. So right now it's a PLG play, product-led growth, which you can, which is, it's another funny way to say it's free trial. And I say it like that because it's a classic, like go get users, go get scale, go get the audience, and then back into those premium features on a classic software subscription model. But because we're lightweight and we're simple, we believe that we can come in already less than half the cost at scale than our competitors.
Cool.
Yeah, be careful who you say product-led growth is basically a free trial to. I said that in a group chat the other day, and people like threw missiles at me. They got so mad. But I kind of agree. But now I might get missiles for that now too. But anyway, so I agree. Now my question is, let's walk through the story, because you were saying, now you could say, hey Jared, are you available? And then we could just jump on a phone call. Could we just talk through that story? Because I can do that with Jared right now, where I could say, Jared, are you available? And then FaceTime him. Or if I don't want to FaceTime him, I could Slack call him. Or if I aren't in those two networks, I could video chat him directly through LinkedIn. So could you go over that story again of why I would want this persistent link rather than just calling through those three platforms?
Yeah, I mean, that presupposes that the audience that you have has Slack, LinkedIn, or any of these other features, right? So like you use my wife as an example, right? So how are you going to talk to my wife? She's not on LinkedIn. She's not on Slack, right? And she's not like a premium Zoom user. So how do you video call my wife?
I would send her a Google Meet at this point.
Yeah, so Google Meet, right, comes with a predefined community. You have to have a login. You have to have a user account, right? It also doesn't work on a mobile device. So specifically tablets and mobile phones without a native client. So now you're forcing a user to go through an ecosystem and download the applications and authenticate user accounts. What we're talking about here is literally when I say grab a link, send it, and click a button, that's what I mean. So the devil's in the details, right? When you peel the onion back, like everything you said is totally doable. So my grandmother could download Slack. I could invite her to my workplace. She could, like, all those things are true, but that is very unlike text messages, phone calls, and emails, where literally you just grab the form of communication and you send it off, and the ability for the other person to receive that, it's like ubiquitous.
They could be an anonymous user. They don't have to be signed in to be able to take advantage of
Yeah, correct. Which is actually the way the real world works, right? Like in regular, communication, just like this, right? Like whether my name was on this or not, right? I could introduce myself. It's no different than walking to a conference room.
So so would in your vision, people stop using FaceTime and they start using this platform instead? And if yes, why would they use this platform versus I just FaceTime Eric to do a video chat?
Yeah, again, right? So FaceTime's the best example, right? FaceTime is a device garden. So if you don't have an Apple device, you cannot create a FaceTime call. So you guys represent less than 10% of the households.
Got it. Yeah. All right.
Right. So in other words, and also think about it, right? Like if you're in the enterprise environment, right, which is a predefined community, and you're on an Apple device, right, that Apple device is not logged into an iCloud account, which means you can't send or receive a FaceTime call. So this is one of those, like, it's all these predefined communities is the pain that I'm solving.
Yeah, no,
right?
I totally get it. So what's your biggest need now? Like, do you need a team to innovate faster? Do you need an investment? Are you looking for promotion to build awareness?
Yeah, we're raising $5 million in capital. I've done this before. Like I've raised very significant capital in my past. We have an engineering team. At the end of the day, this is a can we find and scale the company quickly? So for us, it's distribution, helping find distribution. Like someone like you guys can really help from a distribution play. I would even say, like, outside of funding, it's funding and distribution, but I'd even say, like, it's the classic, like, arbitrarily, like someone could give us $50 million and we can spend it all on like Facebook advertising, but someone who really truly has a megaphone and really has distribution can probably move the needle without that kind of money.
Yeah, for sure.
So to us, that's where, like,
so what does that look
the cost
like
of acquisition for customers is a lot lower.
So what does that look like for you? Like what is their plan to bring to market and to scale? Like, cause you need quick scale too. So like, cause that's really what's going to attract your ultimate desire, which is some exit, and you have the track record. So, which is awesome. So how do you get to market and get millions of people that abandon other platforms and start using this platform?
Yeah, I mean, we just started our Facebook advertising campaign literally 8 days ago, and it's very, very young. And as you guys know, like, it's surprisingly difficult to deploy capital very fast on some of these platforms. Like, you put these large daily budgets in it, and they have to learn, and it's kind of mind blowing how much time it takes.
Speed up to slow down. Yeah,
and I don't expect that to be like I don't expect that to be just like lighting a massive forest fire, right? What I expect is, like, to learn, like, which markets are going to get the high click-through rates, and we can continue to push. What I see is more the social media influencer route and the ability to use and leverage other people's networks for both the consumer play and our B2B white label play.
Yeah. You know what I was thinking too when you're talking? So I could see this working really well in the direct sales network marketing industry, where there is just such large distribution already, and they're encouraged to do FaceTimes, get on Zooms. And like you said, like, if somebody doesn't have the same type of device, then they can't do FaceTime. Zoom requires them to download the app. Hangout, it's just suboptimal completely. And this becomes that quick path to do exactly what their leadership is telling them. And that's volume. If you get into any of these companies, not even the companies, the leadership within the company, like the ones that actually have the downline, you could get tens of thousands of users that adopt this quickly. They're also very price sensitive. So if they could leave Zoom and start using this, and Zoom's cost them $15 a month, and this is free for right now. I mean, it's literally a no-brainer. Have you gone down that route? Have you spoke to any leaders within companies? Because I see that as being a very natural fit.
Yes. So our B2B white label solution, which is basically branded to that company in a very elegant, very simple manner, we built a content management system which spin these things up in, like, literally 5 minutes. I'm not going to mention the name, but I am working with a Fortune 100 company with a field force of 70,000 people servicing their tens of millions of people. I don't want to go into too much depth. Will we win the account? I don't know, but you can probably imagine if we did, right? Something like this is a huge splash. I'm not trying to go top down. It's actually some of my experience in working with the company in a prior career prior to becoming a real entrepreneur. So I had some connections to get in there. But yeah, I mean, everything you're saying, like in a sales enablement tool, is exactly the B2B to C play that I see. And
does the company pay, like, what is the cost for the private label? Like, how does it work with a company like that?
Yeah, so I mean, right now we're looking at a very small per user per month, and we think that'll still be profitable on a unitized basis.
Cool.
So again, classic SaaS.
Yeah.
Per seat or consumption model.
Yeah. Awesome. What are you thinking, Big E?
Thinking? Absolutely. I think it's so interesting thinking about video. I guess I've never even thought about it that way. Taking video and breaking the walled garden. I mean, I think Brian might think that a walled garden is a perfect example of it. Breaking that walled garden and allowing anybody to do video and things like that. There's this, like, sales tactic that I've spoken to you about a little while ago, and then is getting some traction on the internet right now of cold FaceTiming people. But that's not possible unless you have an iPhone to iPhone connection right now. Yeah. And so then this would allow video to be opened up in the same way, and taking anything with a camera and a speaker and being able to just access a video chat with somebody, which is a great way to get to know somebody. There's people on our team that we met for the first time, and because of video chat, we already know them. So I think that's it's really interesting. And Brian, I really admire your track record as well.
Yeah, one thing too that I love about this is whenever we see a company that we know we can integrate into all of our companies, like the entire portfolio, I get extra excited. Like, vertical integration is something that is the reason why 10X Incubator will win. Build, scale, and sell 10,000 tech companies. And this platform is one that every one of the companies will use. Like their users might even use it as well, depending on the products and services that they're offering. So a yes to move forward with due diligence. For all of you that are watching, this is really interesting. Would you use this? Like, would you want to abandon Zoom, abandon Hangout, start using this platform as your mechanism to connect with people through video? Brian did an awesome job. Appreciate you, my friend. We'll be in touch for sure. One of the things we get asked about all the time is what we call our ecosystem. Our ecosystem is the founders and all of their relationship capital and all their resources. And the ecosystem is what makes us unstoppable. It truly is. Like, can you imagine what it looks like when there's 10,000 tech companies in the ecosystem? I mean, there's not going to be one person out of reach. Like, we'll be able to reach every person on the planet. And I think we already can. And we're a little over 100 companies. But outside of the ecosystem, one of the things that we really encourage are our founders to what we call suffocate doubt, eliminate it. This is a very common thing that shows up. When you're a first-time tech founder, even a second time, even Brian, I'm sure there's moments of doubt. I have doubt. I mean, I wake up in doubt. I go to bed in doubt. I have doubt at lunch, but I just eliminate it. I suffocate it as quickly as possible. We also talk about how important it is to execute with reckless abandon. Like, just execute, pure, like, go mode, go, like, no time for second guessing. We're also really big with building plans that you hold yourself accountable to then executing on. And the final thing is we talk about our friendships. One of the things that's so special about our co-founders is that they become lifelong friends. I want to share a short clip with you. This is from our first in-person quarterly co-founder immersion in Delray Beach. We had 40 founders come out for 3.5 days, and we delivered on the promise. And we had quite a bit of fun too. Check out this video right now. What'd you think about that paint room?
It was crazy. Everyone's spraying stuff into each other's face. There was one person going around and putting a paintbrush over people's goggles.
Listen, it was me. I have to say, it was me. I thought it was funny. I thought to myself, if I paint people's goggles, like, they won't be able to see me coming. And then someone did it to me.
And so now you're telling me live that was you.
It was me.
And that was, and so I had to take my shirt.
I think Cassie got me.
Cassie is a, you know, it's always the quiet one.
Yes,
who
always.
do the
Why did we even do this, right? Why are we sharing it? Because you might be like, I want nothing to do with that group. Like, but here's the reason, right? The thing about tech is it's just unpredictable. It's just uncertain. There's just so many unknowns. The journey of tech is for the crazy people like us. The crazy people like us that are just going to challenge the status quo until there becomes a new status quo. But what it's also about is fun. And that's what that represented. If I were to ask the 40 people when they were dressed to impress in their white pants, Gucci shoes, like we had DJ Teal in there, like his hair was even more perfect than Big E's over here.
That's true.
Like he was ready to go out in Delray and do it up. And if I were to said to them, listen, right now, we're about to get on a party bus that is going to be so big that there's going to be a stripper pole in it, or also known as a support pole, I suppose. And we're all going to get on that bus, and then we're going to go to a paint room, and we're going to start throwing water balloons with paint on each other and pouring paint over each other's heads. There's not one person that would have said yes. The same way that if I were to tell you what it's actually going to take to be a tech founder, you're not going to say yes. So I didn't tell anybody. And guess what? They couldn't believe how much fun they had. They couldn't believe the journey they went on. And that's what 10X Incubator stands to do. It stands to make the journey to go from your napkin to exit fun. All right, who's up for this next pitch? We have Jeanette Paxia, who happened to have been in that paint room with us.
Yes, she was there.
I didn't know you were coming tonight. All right, Jeanette, how was the paint room for you?
It was fun. It was a little different.
A little different. Did you know that I was the person that was painting everybody's goggles, or did you just find that out?
I just found that out.
All right,
just now.
don't look at me
Not
differently, Jeanette. You're a lifelong friend here. So I know you got a big tech idea. I can't wait to hear it. So the stage is yours, 5 minutes. Please share your big idea with us.
Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeanette Paxia, and my son and I have created a company called Scale, Skail. And what we do is connect experienced caregivers with pet owners of reptiles, fish, and birds. In order to care for these animals accurately and keep yourself safe, you really need to know what you're doing. There's times when you need to go out of town, there's emergencies that happen, and if you don't have a caregiver who knows what they're doing, it can be an issue for both you and your pets.
Did we lose you?
Is that it?
Are you good?
Yes.
Cool. Let's speak into the platform. So what is the platform going to do? So it's a marketplace, I'm assuming. It's connecting the caregiver of the reptile with the owner of them. Is that accurate? And like, what are some of the other things it's going to do as well?
Yes, that is accurate. So we will connect them just like WAG or Rover does now, but there is no company right now that option for these types of animals.
Got it. So when I moved to Florida, the first night I was here, I don't know if I ever shared the story. I was in my garage, and I just moved to Florida, Naples, Florida, and I was moving a box, and I stepped backwards, and I felt something really squishy under my foot, and I'm like, oh, it must be one of the kids' toys, and I turned around, and there was a frog. Like it was at least the size of a Doberman that I stepped on.
A Doberman.
Listen, don't ever challenge me on live air. Okay. The reptile thing's real. How many reptile owners are there? Do you know in the U.S. alone? Like, how many reptile owners are there?
I don't have an exact number, but it is a large community. As I've asked around and talked to people, there are a lot more people than you think that own these types of animals, especially fish. There are tanks everywhere.
Yeah.
They're
That's really
so
interesting.
sensitive. You spend all this money on a tank and the animals, and then you have this animal that you love, and then no one knows how to take care of it.
So why does WAG or Rover not accommodate? Is it just the fact that you have to really know what you're doing and they don't want the liability? Or like, what as a reptile owner yourself, like, why do you think no other platform exists like this?
I think that it's because you have to have that specialized knowledge, and their focus is dogs and cats. I mean, There are more dogs, cats than there are reptiles, but there is a great deal of reptile owners. We would like to expand later to fund rescues, because there's a lot, as you said, you live in Florida, and there are a lot of places that do rescue these animals for them, and we would also offer an educational opportunity in the future.
Awesome.
So how are we going to accept the liability? So Rover and WAG, they don't want to take the liability of somebody messing up with these animals. How would we mitigate the liability of doing that?
Well, we would have attorneys who are much more experienced in liability than I am, but and the pet owners and the caregivers would have to sign a liability agreement.
Got it. Cool.
Oftentimes there's a two-sided marketplace with these kinds of tech products, right? We have the people who own the reptiles, and then we have the people who take care of the reptiles. How would we so which population would you go after first? The owners of the reptiles or the caretakers? And then how would we acquire those customers?
We would go after the caretakers first, so that we have a database of caretakers to offer to the owners, pet owners. And for many, many groups, like I said, there's a rescue pretty much in every city, channels that we can get to them.
Awesome. And what do you think the economic model is? Like if I had a frog like that Doberman that was in my garage, and I wanted to go on vacation with the kids for a week, like what do you envision the how much is that going to cost me to have somebody come and take care of the frog? How often are they coming during the week? What are they doing during the week? And then how much money does the platform keep?
The platform would take a percentage of the caregiver's money that's paid to the caregiver. It depends on the animal. A snake needs a lot less care than a bird or fish. So the amount of times per week would depend on what animal you were taking care of. And there's a daily fee that we would collect, and that depends on the market that you live in. A daily fee in New York City would be a lot different than in the middle of Ohio.
Is a frog a reptile, or I keep using that as an
It's
example?
an amphibian.
Oh my goodness! Why didn't you correct me, Jeanette? I thought I stepped on a reptile.
No, that's
Come
an
on,
amphibian. But
big
anyway, so
Listen, in the chat, did you know that a frog was not a reptile? 'Cause
that's a second grade thing.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, you're gonna get walloped for that one.
Eric, how do you not acknowledge it until now?
I thought you were just speaking out of place for that. So, Jeanette, my challenge to you is let's dig deeper and let's see how many reptile owners are there in the world. And let's create a total addressable market analysis so we can have an understanding of what the return on investment for a platform like this could be. Because I see it, right? You get this snake. It's a lovely river life. Snaky, whatever you call them, right? And you love this snake, but now you're homebound because you have nobody to take care of your snake, or you have no one to take care of Tweety Bird, or you have nobody to take care of Doberman the frog. And so you're bound because of these things as a pet owner. So I see the problem and I see the solution. How big is it so that we can get a analysis of the return on investment?
And one other thing I would think of too is like for the caregiver, are they setting the price? Is it a standard price for the platform? You mentioned like New York would be a lot more expensive, which I understand, but is it because the platform is setting the price? I would really want us to think about like how much money would a caregiver want to get paid to do this? Like, and is this something that they could do as like a little side thing? Could it become a main thing? I know certain dog walkers that like, that is just what they do. Like they are dog walkers, and they set up dog walker companies. Is there a chance where somebody could go that deep with this? And the reason I bring it up is like Uber, as an example, has created kind of a two-sided marketplace.
Oh,
right?
absolutely.
And there are full-time Uber drivers now. Like that's all they do. They can make a living. They can provide for a family. Is this the potential of that? And if it's not, is there going to still be challenges where there's not enough density in any one area, where there's maybe a lot of reptile owners, but not necessarily a lot of reptile caregivers, and then they're in the same boat as before, they can't go and they travel. But there's obviously a need, right? You are a reptile owner. How many reptiles do you and your son own?
My son, I have lost count. He has a snake named Snuggles, which we actually added to the video that we had put together. But probably about 6 tanks, fish tanks, and he has 2 birds, he has turtles, he has snakes, he has a bearded dragon.
So how do you travel now? Like if you were to travel for a weekend with your son, what is the current plan?
He has, because he works with rescues, he has people he can turn to. And the reason we came up with the idea is actually we had 6 seahorses that someone was taking care of, and they all died because they didn't know how to take care of them.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
That's why we came up with the idea. In addition, I talked to other people who had the same issue. And so right now we are lucky to have people he works with at the rescues to be able to take care of them. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to travel.
Yeah, awesome. Listen, I could tell you are the right family, you're right duo to do this. And for everybody that's watching here, what are your thoughts? Do you own a reptile, and is this a challenge that you experience, or do you know somebody that does? And please share in the comments. We want to be influenced. Like we want to be influenced to say yes to every person that comes here with their napkin idea. We want to go on the journey to exit. That's what we stand to do in the tank. We stand to give everyday people and extraordinary people the chance to take their napkin and turn it into an exit. Jeanette, thank you so much for your presentation. We'd love to go deeper into this. And for all of you watching, please make sure in the chat, if you have a reptile and you feel like you are just homebound because of it, would you use this platform? So, once again, why didn't you tell me that a frog was an amphibian when I said it the first time?
Because I thought you knew that, and I was just saying it. I just let you run with it because I was like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. I'm not going to be a
All right. Did you think it was a big idea? Because
TV.
I don't know. Like I think I may have just in front of thousands of people showed that I didn't pay attention in what class would that have been in 2nd grade?
That would have been just your regular science class.
Okay,
Yeah.
so listen, I've been an entrepreneur from day 0. So the classroom for me just wasn't the right space. But for all of you that have joined this evening, we appreciate you. We do this for you. The reason why we committed to a daily show every day, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, it's really not for us, right? Like we are darn busy. We have calls every 30 minutes of every day with people that have ideas, our co-founders. We're doing it for you because I believe that every time that we do a show like this, we give one person the courage, one person, maybe more, but at least one person the courage to take that idea that they wrote on a piece of paper like this and to do something with it. We stand against ideas residing in the graveyard. We just stand against it because that's where the majority of potential exists. It just resides there. And don't let your potential go there. So if you have a napkin or you have a minimum viable product or you have a cash flowing tech company, this is a safe space. Go to 10xincubator.com, fill out the free written application. Our idea review committee will review it, and maybe, just maybe, you'll join us in the tank. And if you want reminders before we go live every day, Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, please head over to 10xtechtank.com. Fill out the form. We have a free gift for you there. I created a program called the Perfect Pitch Kit. And the reason we did this is I find so many people just don't know how to pitch. Whether you're pitching us or you're pitching to raise capital, that's just what we do. We're on the receiving end of pitches. We're giving pitches. We know what the perfect pitch looks like and sounds like, and we want to give you that opportunity as well. So head over right now to 10xtechtank.com. Fill out the form. We'll send you the Perfect Pitch Kit. We appreciate you, and as we always say, together we achieve more. Bye for now.
Napkin will become the next exit? Which MVP will evolve into a unicorn? Which cash-flowing tech company will reach the next level? Our hope and desire is that it's yours. Your idea, your MVP, your cash-flowing tech company. Now is your time. Head over to 10xincubator.com and submit your idea so that you get on the tank and give us the chance to transform your napkin into an exit. That's 10xincubator.com. That's 10xincubator.com. Let's go.